It's also a shitty question though. Like that's a trick question. That's the one thing. That's like what's in my pocket. Like he doesn't fucking know that.
It's this. I'm flicking you off.
That's what it should have been. My favorite joke. If that scene would what's in my pocket, and then at the end of it, fucking he pulls his middle finger out. God, that'd be so good.
Honeys, we're home. Hello, and welcome to Sinclairity A Dinosaurs Tale. I am your host. We're going to need another Timmy along with my co-host.
Hey, I'm the late and great baby driver, Ben Hand Up Me. fresh off the boat.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just got off the boat here in Dinnerland. And I was wondering, I've always, my whole life, I've wanted to travel to Dinnerland because my mother only allowed us to eat dino-shaped chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese every night. And she called it supper because it's formal. But yeah. I always knew that one day I would find a beautiful place called Dinnerland and that I would run into the beautiful Chef Tim, which is how we met.
I think supper is what they call it in Europe.
Do you really think they call it supper in Europe?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Well, that's where I got off the boat from. So this all makes sense. Yeah, Europe.
Yeah. We're both white. That makes sense.
just Europe, non-specific. I don't want to talk about it. Somewhere in Europe.
It's not Germany.
I don't know if they both can go there. I don't know anything about geography, honestly. But how have you been enjoying Dinnerland so far?
I had the worst dinner ever.
And whose fault is that?
It's my fault because I keep making this and I hate it.
What is it? Is it like an antidote that you have to take because of a poison? Like, why are you forcing yourself to eat something you don't want to?
So at the beginning of this year, 2021, I kind of I started meal prepping and I cut a lot of stuff from my diet. Like I don't really eat any breads on a normal basis. Like no carbs.
Still submissive though.
Yeah.
Just not breadable.
Unbreadable. Uncrustable.
The uncrustable Kimmy Schmidt.
Unbreadable. And
tell it.
And so one of the meals, so every Saturday morning, I wake up and I walk the dog, I take a shower, I enjoy my Saturday morning, and then it comes the dreaded time before I go to the grocery store where I'm like, okay, what am I gonna make this week for lunch and dinner? So I had to make lunch and dinner. So I had to do two different meals.
Oh, that's unheard of.
And I kind of cycle through like stuff that I can just make off the top of my head because it's a lot easier that way. I don't have to think about what I'm gonna buy at the store. I know exactly what I need. So there's this one recipe, and it's it's basically the way it was titled. It's like crunchy cashew cauliflower salad. And okay. Basically what it is,
it sounds like an obstacle course already.
It is for your mouth.
Yeah.
And so you get some barley, you know, if you had barley before, Ben?
I liked some of his songs, but I like the Sublime covers better.
Bob Marley.
It's just Bob Marley shortened as barley. Yeah, I know what barley, like barley malt.
Yeah. So you make that, and then you get some cauliflower and you cut it up, and you just put some like salt and pepper and olive oil, and you put it in the oven for a couple minutes.
So that's considered, you think it's seasoned if you just put salt and pepper on it? You don't add anything else?
Well, that's just what you put on the cauliflower.
Okay.
and then you add chickpeas, just straight chickpeas,
Mhm.
and then you add like
Wait, what's the what are chickpeas and garbanzo beans the same thing?
Yeah,
Like, what's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean?
I don't think there is a difference.
I've never had a chickpea on my face. Wait, I did it wrong. Fuck. Continue
Too
the
late.
recipe, Chef Tim.
So you get that, you put the cashews on there, and then you make a dressing. You make it's like a ginger dressing with agave and mustard, and it's pretty good as a dressing by itself. Mix that together, and then when the cauliflower is done and the barley, which by the way, the barley takes 45 minutes to like prepare, which is so annoying.
It's demanding a lot out of you.
Yeah, and you get the barley, and you just put everything together, and you add the dressing, and you just kind of mix it up, and then you serve it, and you can eat it. And I can get like a week's worth of servings for it. When I first did it, I was like, man, this dressing's pretty good. Like, it kind of brings it all together. And over the months, I've tried different things. Like, I think the first time I did it, I kept the chickpeas separate, but then I started seasoning the chickpeas and the cauliflower together, and then baking them together. So it would make the chickpeas like a little more tolerable. and that seemed to go okay. And then this time, instead of making the dressing, I bought a dressing last weekend. It was a Dijon marinade. It was this special
like
mustard.
Obama would use on his hamburgers.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really good dressing. It's like really vinegary. But I took that and mixed it with agave to keep the sweet. Didn't add the ginger or anything like that. Mixed it all together. And every time I eat it, Ben, I have to have a glass of water next to me so I can just shove it all in my mouth and drink it down, because
like a personal hot dog eating contest for your health.
Yeah.
You're like, this is, I gotta do it.
I'm sure there's someone out there who can make this and make it really good, but
hopefully, because that would be something that at least it's always good when like we make somebody listen to a 5-minute recipe for something that we don't want to, like, we're like, and then
yeah,
you'll tolerate it at first.
Like this time, when I seasoned the cauliflower and the chickpeas, I did salt, pepper, and olive oil, but then I also added Isa makes like a special dry rub that we use on like French fries and stuff like that.
That she generates naturally from her body.
Yeah, it's like on her arm. She just does like that. Yeah. And it's really good. And I was like, I'm gonna add some of this to it to maybe get some flavor out of these. And it's terrible every time.
I think part of the issue is that cauliflower is death half of the time. Sometimes it's pretty good, but most of the time it's death. Like,
it smells like butt.
Like, yeah, the only time I like when I get like cauliflower wings from like Northside Yacht Club, that's when it's good. But when I get cauliflower wings from like the frozen food section, they're trash. I don't know what's up with it.
Yeah,
cauliflower crust is garbage.
The cauliflower, the buffalo cauliflower that I make myself is really good.
Yeah, I believe it.
Now, given I add vegan, I use vegan ranch with it and stuff, but it's really good.
The thing about like I'll go on. Sorry.
That's even easier though, because all I do is I make the cauliflower. The only thing that sucks about it is I use our air fryer, and it's a tiny air fryer, so you can't
do it all at once.
All of it in once, so it takes forever. Stressful. But all I do for that recipe is just make the cauliflower. I get some what are they called? Celery. I get some celery sticks. And I get some quinoa, and I use the dressing, and that's it. That's the whole meal, and it's delicious. Perfect. It's delicious.
Do that every night.
I can't though.
I know.
That's the thing.
So you gotta like is this this has to be your last time doing this meal prep with this?
Yes.
You need a new recipe. You need to stop.
Yeah,
like
it's
you already
disgusting.
like being a vegan and then also adding other dietary. You're like playing Nuzlocke mode with eating.
But that's the thing though, is I've managed to make really good stuff. Like I made the other meal I made this week was chili, and I
Mhm.
do a different chili recipe like every time, and it's so
Yeah.
good.
So like at least that's the I don't know. At least you have control over what you get to eat. Some people, such as Charlene, are going to be forced to eat worms in the episode that we're about to cover.
Yeah.
And like it's like that's one of those things you get to appreciate about being an adult is well, you know what? Actually, no, it sucks to have to feed and clothe yourself, regardless of whether you get to make something you like, or if you're Tim and you make something that you have to fucking take like a pill with like water.
Yeah, it literally is. It is like
Like
a
somebody
pill.
like when they put like their ecstasy in a piece of toilet paper and parachute it back in their throat with water.
Or like
Food.
when I take all my vitamins in the morning, because I had to get big old horse pills of calcium because my calcium's low, and iron.
Yeah, those are
So they're like
rough.
big ass horse pills.
Yeah, those are difficult.
I do it in I do so it's three calcium, one iron, a vitamin C, and a B12. And I take that all in one gulp.
And
With
100%
water.
reason, 100% reason to remember the name. Well, let's hop back into this boat, and we're going back from Dinner Island all the way over to Podcast Island, where we remember to tell our listeners that they're listening to a podcast about the show Dinosaurs.
That's right. This is Sinclairity A Dinosaurs Tale, and it's a show about the puppet show from the 90s called Dinosaurs.
Yeah, and we're 3 seasons deep into this, so I mean, like, if this is your first episode, you might want to go back, but I'm not going to judge you. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
We're just here to get to know you.
We're also almost done with the whole series, so
We are getting pretty close.
welcome to the game. Welcome to the end.
But yeah, this is the farewell tour. So today we're going to be discussing season 3, episode 12, Getting to Know You, which was released on January 15th, 1993.
You're gonna say July.
I also don't think
wishing.
I also don't think that's correct. That's when it was released. I think I got the date wrong. I'm not worried about it right now. So I'm pretty sure that was last week. Because that's, I believe, my sister Michelle's birthday, which I already mentioned before. So this can't be right.
That's right. And this is the episode after Ben's birthday.
Oh yeah, it was my birthday 2 days ago.
When we're recording this, as opposed to when it comes out.
Yes, I got taller. I gained 2 new teeth. Lost 8 friends. So it was great. You can't stop every dangerous current in a river. Somebody's gonna die eventually. That's what my dad always said. Once a night.
Once a night.
Once a night. Never I love you. Always that.
But yeah, I'm gonna use you to plug a river.
That's why he originally wanted to name me Damn, but they said I was too like, you can't name your kid a cuss word. This is not allowed.
DAM.
Yeah, damn.
Like Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was that like a wrestler? Some kind of wrestler. We don't talk about that on this show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait a few episodes and we'll talk about it. And Sarah and Marty are back.
What are you talking about? There's a wrestling reference in this episode.
Oh yeah, and every single episode of our podcast. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and let's get into this fucking episode, which was written by the Smothers Brothers, David Kaplan and Brian LaPran. Wait, never mind.
That's back to back for them, right?
Yeah, that is back to back for them. Which is typically the case with theirs. I feel like they burn them 2 episodes often. Like they're just like, get them in. These are the fucking boys at corporate. These are like, I feel like these are like the pitch hitters. Is that a thing? Like that hit for the pitchers? I feel like that's what these guys are.
They hit the pitchers?
Yeah, they hit the pitchers.
Oh yeah. If this is anyone's first episode of the podcast, Ben is really into baseball video games, so Ben knows all about baseball now.
That's true. I also just rewatched like most of Eastbound and Down yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna try not to say any like slurs, I guess. Like,
you're the best baseball fan there is.
Yeah,
obviously.
All I care about is Kenny Powers and MLB The Show 2020, not even the current year.
And let's go Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. That's all I care about.
And the Baby Cakes, which isn't a team anymore. But yeah, this episode's directed by Mark Broll, which he's bounced around a few times on our show.
Yeah, didn't he just direct the last one too?
I think he might have.
What if they just like knocked all these out in like a day or something, or like a week? Like they knocked out all these episodes.
I mean, like sometimes maybe they're just when the fucking iron's hot or whatever, they're just fucking pummeling through them. Can't stop them.
Yeah, Iron Man. That's right.
But a quick little summary for this episode is it's about Charlene signing up for a foreign exchange program at school to get away from her family because essentially they don't know her and they don't care about her and she's tired of that shit. But in exchange, now the Sinclairs will also have to deal with an exchange student. And let's just say things get a little out of hand this week at the Sinclair household. It's like maybe there's like some kind of conflict that needs resolved by the end. Maybe it's a sitcom.
Yeah. Also, I love that. Well, I guess we'll get into it, but I love that it's a foreign student exchange, but really it's species. It's not really about students.
Yeah, it does say species on the flyer, but it's really like it's not. Nobody goes to school. Like, but yeah, this one we have Tim Curry is back as one of the annoying birds, the Poupons, and then
I knew that was him.
Mm-hmm. And then Julianne, I'm not gonna say her last name, but you know, she's that rat from Muppets and shit. She's a famous puppeteer. She's back as Simone Poupon. Cison.
Yeah, she's the
mom.
Is it Camilla the rat? Is that what it was? Am I just
I feel like it starts with an R, but I could be wrong. It's Ratatouille.
Yeah. Ratatouille.
Yeah, this the title of this episode, Getting to Know You, is a reference to a song from Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical The King and I. And the last bit of trivia we have for all you trivia nerds is that French people apparently really like Jerry Lewis.
I only know that because of Weird Al.
Wait, what has Weird Al said about French people and Jerry Lewis?
He has a song. He has a song on. Is it Poodle Hat?
That's one of the ones I know.
Hat. He has the last track on it is like I'm a genius in France, and it's all about Jerry Lewis. That's what the song's about. It is in fact genius. That is
amazing. But we'll get more into why it's important to know that French people like Jerry Lewis when we get to that point in the episode.
Yeah.
But for now, we're gonna need another Timmy here. Get us started with scene 1.
Yeah, so we get our cold open, and we visibly see that Fran she has the flu.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in the kitchen. She looks miserable. She's blowing her nose, and then Earl comes in, and he's like, "Hey, hey, Fran." It's like, I found the market all by myself.
Yeah, so I assume it's like morning time still, but Earl went out to do some shopping to take care of his wife for once. Right. As he puts it, he's going to take up the slack and do his 50% around the house.
Yeah, and Fran is so out of it. She's like, "Oh, I'll make you a list." He's like, "I already did it." He's like, "I did the shopping. I planned a wonderful birthday party for Charlene. I picked up the dry cleaning," and he had a bikini wax.
Yeah, he said, "Boy, am I tender." I just like how he
some frightening imagery.
I know. I just like how he doesn't understand that was a personal to-do list, my man. Like, that's not for the family.
He's like, I went to the DMV. I went to the gynecologist.
I visited the guy you're having an affair on me with, like
Gary.
Yeah, Gary. I went to see Gary. I just think it's also funny, like what the point of the bikini wax when they don't wear pants, like you're gonna see like the part, like the whole point of bikini wax is the part that will be exposed on the outside of your bikini. Like, bro, you guys aren't wearing nothing.
I know, it's just like in the last episode when he puts on the x-ray goggles, he's like, "Fran, I could see your underwear." It's like, she's not wearing any.
Yeah, so pretty much it's just ridiculous. And Earl sends Fran out of the room to get some sleep because he's going to get back into preparing Charlene's party, which is in about an hour. So glad he's planning it now.
That's right. And then I love these fucking cold opens. It's like so many scenes.
I know.
And like, so Robbie takes Charlene out to the woods
to murder her.
Yeah. but really he just ruins the surprise because I don't know why.
There's no build up for it either. He just immediately is like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be. He like didn't know why else you'd think he'd ever hang out with her. He's like, oh yeah, well Dad told me to take you out here and distract you because there's a surprise party coming.
Yeah, and Charlene's she's like really excited, and even Robbie's like, yeah, well, show me your surprise face, and
Yeah,
she does like a weird face.
That's his deal. Is he won't go back with her until she proves that like she won't like rat on him for spoiling it. But I'm like, why did you even spoil it then?
Yeah, and then immediately it cuts to she comes home and she's like, oh, she's like so excited, and then Earl greets her, is like, hey, and it's just Earl's work friends and Baby,
the tree pushers that are playing cards with Baby, and they all like kind of like, hey, when she walks in, only Earl is the one who's like, surprise. And Baby's just like, 3 queens, gotta love them.
I'm losing to a bird.
Yeah, and so Earl snaps a photo of Charlene's pretty genuine surprise face, which Robbie comments on. Like, damn, it's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a theme song.
And then we come back and Charlene's like so upset, but Earl doesn't get. He's just like, aren't you like, look, I put this whole thing together for you
all by myself, and I'm only 43. Like, somehow he managed to put a party together.
She's like, poker? That's so boring.
Yeah, he's like, poker's just the beginning. Once the ribs arrive, we're gonna watch this tape your Uncle Roy brought over.
Did you think it was gonna be porno?
I mean, it might still be wrestling. I've seen some wrestling porno, so I have like I'm almost certain I have a VHS titled exactly this: Wrestling's Greatest Bloopers and Blunders.
It's called Botchamania. Shout out to Matthew.
Check out Botchamania for us. Yeah, but she shouts that this is a nightmare.
This is my nightmare. That's what she says.
This is my nightmare. And then Needle Nose begins the giving of the gifts, which he got her soup
for her family.
What? Everyone likes soup.
And then I love this part because I don't know how close attention you're playing, but I love Baby in this scene because when he brings the soup, Baby's just laughing to himself like
even Baby
so
knows.
Stupid. Yeah, he's like soup. He's like giggling in the back. He's like
and then Sexual Harris should be up next, but he forgot to get her anything, so he just says he'd cover her ante if she wants to play poker. And then he offers Earl's like, that's a shitty present.
So instead he offers to cover the price of the keg, which
Earl's
what does
about.
Charlene care about that? Yeah.
Are they gonna get her drunk? They've gotten Robbie drunk in an episode before, might as well keep it going.
Yeah, and so obviously Charlene's upset and she's just like, no one knows me in this family, like you don't know who I am, Earl. And
well, no, yeah, he does. He got her such a good gift.
Yeah, a belt sander.
Yeah, variable speed belt sander. And somehow this ungrateful bitch runs out and she runs into Fran, who's still fucking dying or whatever.
Yeah.
But still managed to knit her a whole sweater despite her condition.
Yeah, because back in the woods with Robbie, she says that she'd really like this sweater that she saw at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's all excited because it's a sweater because it's her mom. She's like, oh, my mom knows me, and it's just ugly. And
yeah, she thought her mom would buy her a sweater, and she was mad that she made one because like
on
really
her deathbed.
Yeah, and Fran's like, oh, I'm really glad I put in the extra effort then. So yeah, she starts doing the whole like Home Alone, shouting about how she hates his family and whatever. Wishes that they never existed. But not so Fran goes to see what's going on, like what started this, and checks in on Earl and the boys. And their party.
They're all drinking, and then she's just like, Earl, this is not a party for a teenage girl. And then all of a sudden you hear Needle Nose from the kitchen. He's just like, hey, the stripper's here.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So maybe it is a party for a teenage girl if you're a 19-year-old stripper getting paid, but not for Charlene.
Also, I love that Earl was just like, Yeah, my wife's home, my daughter's home. Yeah, I'll get a stripper.
Like even if he like was just doing a party for himself intentionally, it seems like a bad move. Like
also a baby. There's also a baby there.
I sometimes like so like there's stories on the show where sometimes I like am almost gonna go into it that I'm like, I always forget that I'm fucked up and I have weird shit happen to me all the time. But I was just like, I remember being at a bachelor party when I was like 11 and they kept making me close my eyes whenever any girl showed their boobs. And I was just like, I shouldn't even have been in the room. Like that's like a situation to begin with. I spent my whole life mad that I had to close my eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's baby's life too, I guess.
He sees a lot of shit.
He does a lot of shit too.
Yeah,
but
his diaper.
But we're gonna move on over. We're gonna get on our boat and go over to Bob La Brea High School for the next scene about which I know is the banner. It says congratulations Division A champions, but I don't know which team or sports referencing. But still,
it's Robbie's team.
Let's pour one out for him.
Yeah. And we get the return of Mindy, like actual Mindy.
Are you sure though? Like, because it's different than the first Mindy for sure. Because the first, Mindy
at least they kept the name.
The first Mindy was like dorkier, and this one has a more like sultry voice.
Yeah, and she's just like, why wasn't I invited? She's like, because you don't work with my dad.
Yeah. So like these two teenage chair lizards commiserate over their shared frustrations with their fucking parents, and at least they're quoting that Will Smith song or whatever. And Dad's never get a clue. And I think it's funny because Mindy is like agreeing and saying that it's the worst, but she also is like, yeah, my dad never listened to me. But then he started taking me until he started taking me to the ballet every week and all this shit. Charlene just is giving her that look like, you motherfucker.
And I thought there was going to be a joke in that and be like, now my mom is my dad or some shit like that. I thought that was going to be a joke.
No, it was just that this Mindy doesn't know how to read a fucking room.
Yeah.
So she's just bragging at her about it. Although it is made clear that's the only day she sees her dad every week. So it doesn't really bring up, but it sounds like has divorced parents, which is an anomaly in this world.
That's what I was thinking. Like it was going to be like a divorce joke or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. So she talks about like she does claim that she has the worst family ever. Mm-hmm. And she talks about like, I just need a new family that's like far away.
Yeah, foreign land.
Somewhere else. And she sees the flyer, which is for the species exchange program.
which I don't know why school sanctioned at all.
Yeah, that just seems dated. Like it's one thing to be a student, but like a whole like a species.
Like that'd be like, I mean, it's hilarious. Like if I had to go live in a stable and a horse had to go to school and live at my parents' house, people had to ride on my back. Yeah, Mr. Ugg. Into the thick of it.
But I also like this flyer is like, it's the T-Rex from the clip show episode, like the T-Rex, but he has a little beret on and like a piece of bread in his
a baguette.
Yeah. It's bread. It's just bread.
Well, it's bread is French for baguette.
Baguettable.
Baguette about it. But yeah, so now we cut to Fran pacing the living room amongst a pile of Charlene's packed bags, and Earl just comes in complaining about Fran calling him every time there's some fucking minute family crisis. This is like the fourth time the show he's had to leave work for some shit.
Yeah, it's surprising that they let him keep his terrible job. And Fran is just like, she's running away. He's like, to where? Little girl temper tantrum land.
She's gonna take our dinner boat. She's like, she's serious, Earl. Like her bags are all packed and everything. Which for one, I get like she's concerned, but I've plenty of times I packed my bags. I wasn't going fucking nowhere. I didn't have a plan. I just wanted to
pack my bags and ride my horse. Yeah. And Earl didn't Earl do this in another episode where he was just like, they're not being serious. Like,
yeah, that's kind of the thing. He never believes the kids are gonna take action, and he does tell Fran that if she knew Charlene at all, she know that there's nothing in this suitcase except he like pops it open and he's like a lot of clothes and other daily necessities. Oh no.
So he's going through her shit, and Charlene is already pissed, and
comes into the room to witness that.
But she's dead serious, and Earl the whole time, like they even go outside with her, and like she gets her stuff, and Earl even puts her purse in her mouth.
So she can walk out with all of her bags. Didn't offer to carry her bags for her or anything.
No. And she just goes outside, and you hear a bus pull up, and she just gets in the bus, and Earl is out there for 2 days.
And he's just like the whole time just waiting, and then like he thinks he sees her. This is sleep deprivation probably kicking in. Shadow people. He's like, oh, there she is. Nope, just a lamppost.
Yeah, and it's just like when he waited for Richfield. And he stood there for like an hour.
Oh yeah, just at the door while time lapsing. This reminds me of the time that he had to wait out front of the Dursleys' house for Dumbledore to get there and turn off all the lights. And then that was McGonagall. That wasn't Earl. I get them so confused.
That's right.
They both can turn into a cat.
But so he's been out there the whole time, and Fran is just like, you need to come in, and I'm tired of feeding you through the doorway.
But this is when Earl finds out from Robbie that he is going to receive an exchange student. He was hoping they get a barbecue in exchange, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, one of them kind of does, but But Robbie comments on how the program is meant to dissolve interspecies biases and prejudices, and says that but Earl, of course, he can live out in the yard. Foreigners smell bad.
Which you should already know, if the poster and the music that played didn't throw you off. These birds are French.
I thought you were going to say they all listen to the band Foreigner.
Yes, they do smell. This is confirmed.
This is confirmed. I don't think we can say. I can say plenty about the French. I've never smelled them because I wouldn't get close enough to. But
yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't touch them with an Eiffel Tower. That's my only thing I know about France. What language did you learn in high school?
Spanish.
Yeah, you better have. You're in Florida.
Practical. It's practical.
Exactly.
What the fuck?
French is always, I'm like, okay, fucking hoity-toity. Like,
who gives a fuck?
In New Orleans, it's different because that's one of the main, like, what they do is they force you to do it. Like, that's the first option in a lot of places there. But, like, no, the weirdest one is when kids choose to learn German. I'm like, okay.
You just want to be a Nazi.
Okay. sorry in advance for whoever upsets, but it's a little sus. My
Spanish teacher, she also taught German, but she taught Spanish 1, and then she taught like the advanced German class. So it was very weird.
That's an interesting. She seems like a pretty cool person though.
She was. I don't know if I've told this episode on the podcast before. When I was in her class, I had such a good grade by the end of the semester that I sat next to the kid who was like failing. Yeah, and he was hilarious, and he would just say dumb shit. And one time he was like saying, and it was funny too because his dad was one of those other Spanish teachers. And he was so bad in the Spanish class, and he would just say the funniest stuff, and I would just sit next to him and laugh. And one time I was like laughing out loud in front of like the whole class, and the teacher literally like pointed it out. She's like, don't worry guys, Tim can laugh because he has like the highest grade in the class.
Nerd check.
Oh, I'll never forget that. Like, it was so funny to me. Like, that's really never happened to me in any other class.
Well, ever. It's probably very rare that you were the top in the class. Like, you weren't one of the big time science boys. We discussed this.
Oh yeah, fuck science.
But that's called the Kama Sutra. It's fuck science. But while Fran and Robbie are kind of discussing like gaining new perspectives, they're interrupted by this fucking asshole. He's like, "You want perspective? You are rude and ill-mannered dogs, pig dogs." He calls them pig dogs. It's cute.
I hate
Francois.
I hate Francois. That's his name. I hate him so much. He's the worst character.
I'm currently. It's hard to know what's worse, him, baby, or this dog Frida right now, who has been whining in the background of my audio.
I know. I heard her.
I don't know what her issue is.
She wants to eat a French bird.
I know, Frida. You're gonna have to stop. Well, come here, or I'm gonna take you to your room.
But so they basically. So are we to assume that they just didn't pick him up from like the bus station or something?
He like just had to fly there or something.
Yeah, which he could do anyway.
Or was Robbie already aware that he was there since he mentions the exchange student, but the rest of the family is just oblivious?
Yeah, because then like Fran like immediately just tries to like shoo him away, like go away.
Yeah, I like how like the bird addresses her as giant fish wife.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but everything he says, he calls her a waddling, prattling shrew, and to take his valise, which I had to look up, which is like, I guess just a bag, like a luggage bag.
Yeah. And Earl is being racist. Like he's talking slow to him because he assumes he doesn't speak his language.
What's so funny is originally in the notes, I was typing Earl starts racisting or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's this
Racisting.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny that I was like, I don't even have to put that. We know.
Yeah. And then the baby introduced himself and he's just like, what kind of stupid name is that?
It's Baby. Yeah. And then baby's like, oh, what's your name? Like Francois Jean-Marie Poupon. And baby's like, all right, you win.
Also, while I was watching this episode, Issa was in the room and she asked, are they mustard?
Are they mustard? Like Grey Poupon?
Yes.
Are they mustard? Them boys are full hot dogs.
That's Issa's corner of the week right there.
Issa's corner of the week.
Yeah.
Next week it's Vine at Madison. Corner of the week. Wait, that's an intersection.
So Fran offers Francois some food and he immediately spits it out, calls it swill.
Yeah, he thinks he's being poisoned.
Yeah, which is exactly how my friend Jeremy used to talk about Pepsi.
Pepsi? I mean, that's correct, though. Pepsi is poison. I don't understand why it exists.
It could probably clean a car battery faster than Coca-Cola.
Probably. That's its selling point, I guess. Fucking. But I do like that you continue to call the bird Francois, even though I keep referring to his stuff like Dick Bird.
Dick Bird.
But Earl laments on the fact that Charlene is at least somewhere else, not being forced to deal with Francois.
Yeah, but
different kind of hell.
It's a hard cut to Charlene in a very tiny tree. So she's just like in the tree, and all his family, Dick Bird's family, are all sitting there watching Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, watching clips of Jerry Lewis, and like while the family keeps like, you see what we mean? We see he's a genius. Like,
what did he says like Travin, Ravin, Mavin, something like some stupid like.
Just like, what a genius. He makes a movie about how if you're fat, nobody likes you, you become skinny, people like you, but you're a dick. And yeah, he's Jerry Lewis, hilarious guy. Nutty professor.
So many levels to his humor.
Yeah, they mentioned that he's about to put a cigarette in his nose in the next scene.
It's hilarious.
It's fucking great. It works on so many levels. If I did not read the info about it being a thing that French people like Jerry Lewis more than Americans, I would have thought this is the most random fucking scene, and it would have been so much funnier even. Like that, like it would be like some writer on the set was just like, God, one time I had to hang out with this guy whose family was obsessed with Jerry Lewis, and that's all they talked about. I'm gonna write this into this show.
Clavin, Maven, Blaven.
And then it gets worse as they try to feed Charlene some worms for dinner out of their mouths.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, we all know that Charlene is the biggest eater in the Sinclair family. She will eat almost anything, without question.
Yeah.
but all of a sudden she's grossed out by worms.
Worms aren't meaty enough. They're not meat. Like meat's the thing for her. She probably wouldn't eat like spinach if it was handed to her.
Okay, but there are a pretty good source of protein.
Okay, well, let's see a bad boy. Go get a worm.
Go get a worm.
Let's see the worm. Oh wait, but you can. Okay, so not vegan. Is that not vegan?
Oh man, we're gonna get into the ethics of eating bugs.
Yeah, because this is a thing where there are some vegans who will eat bugs. So I never know.
Okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
I don't want to just not answer the question, but I'm gonna do a little plug. The Bearded Vegans, which is a great podcast about vegan stuff, hosted by Andy Tabar from Flaming Tsunamis, and his friend Paul, and to the band, not Andy.
Yeah, to the bandy, not the Andy.
They host a great podcast called The Bearded Vegans, and they have at least 2 or 3 episodes about bugs and the ethics of eating bugs and being vegan. And I suggest you go and listen to those instead of listening to me talk about it, because they're way smarter and more nuanced than I could ever be.
Yeah. So like I could already, if you go to like find them on like wherever you get your podcast, like they had an episode like July 7th even that's called Are Vegans Morally Obligated to Eat Insects? So yeah, do that. I'll listen to it too. You can email us about it.
Yeah.
But it is a big contentious debate.
Unrelated, last year they did a fantastic series about Thug Kitchen, and it's really good. So go back and listen to that too.
Yeah, sounds good. Because I would say I the main thing I know is that there's a lot of stuff that is produced by in some way by beetles and stuff that I don't think is easy to avoid, regardless like how much you try like flavoring and shit. Like it's difficult. It's not even going to be listed as an animal product. So
a lot of the conversation they have comes from this. It was someone was making I think it was like a sushi dish or something with cicadas. So that's a whole thing, eating cicadas.
Yeah, I've eaten cicadas before.
Anyway,
I have literally have, because last time they were here before this time. But yeah, so back from Timon and Pumbaa talk. Slimy yet satisfying. Yeah. we get back to Dick Bird complaining about how boring the day has been so far. The Sinclairs, he calls it a vast experience of unrelenting tedium.
And he's just like, "Where are you taking me?" And he just keeps yelling, like, "Entertain
the park,
me."
The museum. Are you not entertained? So I like that. Like Earl's thing is, he says that him and Fran are going to go come up with a skit. Like they're going to go, what are you going to do? Like Spartans cheerleaders or something? They're going to do some SNL bits for the fucking bird. Yeah.
While Francois is just like, "Oh, you guys are so fat and stupid because you watch TV all day." Like,
and they don't even play badminton anymore, according to Fran. But either way, he laughs with unbridled contempt at their pathetic lawn activities.
Yeah. So
this is when they go to work on their skit, and they of course come back in the room going, "We're two wild and crazy guys." And no, that's just in my fantasy version. What happens is they leave the room and leave Baby to play with Francois.
Yeah, and Baby starts squawking at Baby, and Baby's just like, "Shut up."
Yeah, they have a squawk off, basically, an annoying off.
And then he's like, "Hey, I got a present for you." And Dick Bird's like, "What is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's in my diaper."
He's nuts.
D's.
So he could mean poop, he could mean D's nuts. We don't know.
Yeah.
He was like, "I got a present for you. You remember hey Tim, I got a present for you. Do you remember our friend Candace?"
Which one?
Candace dick fit in your mouth?
I don't know, Ben. I heard it's pretty big.
Your mouth, that is. Boom.
Hog.
But Baby and Francois continue their annoying off while Fran is in the kitchen saying some pretty borderline racist lines about how even though their species are different on the outside, on the inside, she still wants to kill every single one of them.
Yep, she wants
And
to
Earl gets horny about it.
exterminate. She wants to exterminate the whole entire
For
race.
sure. And Earl says he wants to take her hunting, which Earl's never fucking hunted. We've already clarified that Robbie's the only one who's killed an animal.
Yeah, and but Fran killed the monster, the swamp monster.
That's true. Like, what does he mean take her hunting? She could take him hunting.
Yeah. I think Earl likes this because, as we saw in that episode when they killed the swamp monster, she was so horny for Earl. So Earl's probably like, oh, she's in the mood.
Yeah, she's that bloodthirst.
And
But yeah, you can do it. Oh yeah, well they notice that they don't hear the baby or the fucking squawking bird anymore.
Yeah, they're like, oh, maybe they're getting along, and so they walk into the room, and they realize that the bird is gone. They look at baby. Baby's so smug, and Fran is just like, what do you have to say for yourself? And he goes, yummy.
I'm surprised he didn't have a tummy ache from eating something that disagreed with him. Am I right?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Earl doesn't think it's a big deal because Francois came to their neck of the woods to see what shit was about. He fucked around. He found out.
Yeah. Baby keeps burping up feathers.
Ta-da! But Fran's like going to go like fucking rat on them. Tell the other family like the best phone call you could ever have to make in your life. Like, and Earl's trying to talk her out of it because like it's not going to go well, and they still have Charlene who they can torture.
Exactly. And so they go,
and they are kind of torturing her in this scene.
Yeah, because they tell her to like go to bed, and she's like, well, I can't. And they're like, no, just sleep in Francois's room. And she goes to grab his perch and just breaks it.
Yeah, so this is like she already had to sleep. She mentioned she's already slept like sitting down the last night too, so she's been there a couple nights apparently. And just fucking being tortured. And they all start making fun of her for being fat.
Yeah, and then she comes back with like, my family doesn't think I'm fat. Like,
no, they like apparently that makes them all fat and stupid.
Yeah.
But Earl concocted a plan involving sending the Poupons a different animal in place of the child.
And so this part made me laugh so bad.
Yeah, and Earl racistly does suggest that all foreigners look the same. Well, it's funny because like Fran's like they obviously know what their kid looks like. He's like, Fran, that's a rude generalization or something like that. They all look the same. So meanwhile, baby was bitten by a radioactive French boy and has become half French, which is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And but I love this like little creature. He's like painting painting on his face, and it reminded me of Meet the Parents with the cat.
What happens with the cat?
Wait, you haven't seen Meet the Parents?
I have, but I just wasn't. The movie's just 2 hours of Greg milking different animals in the house, isn't it?
Well, the cat that he says he can milk, he loses the cat, Jinx, and he goes to the pound and finds another cat that looks exactly like him. But then he paints the tail of the cat, and that's like a joke in the movie. We're just like, you painted the cat's tail? How fucked up are you?
You know what? That movie, I have not seen it since high school. I do think I need to rewatch it.
That movie rules.
Ben Stiller does not have a lot that I care for, but the ones I do care for, I like a lot.
It's so good.
It does sound like it holds up pretty well just from that scene alone.
Yeah, it's great. So he's got this decoy, I guess. He's trying to just pass it off. And so he leaves.
Yeah, well, he teaches it a bunch of how to say like you're fat and you're stupid and stuff like that.
Yeah. So he goes, and then we cut back, and he's already back. And he's just like, Fran, I'm home. And she's like, oh, it worked. He's like, yeah, look. Here comes Charlene, and it's just Turtle Puss. Yeah,
with a little alteration to his head, but like, and Earl like does not believe Fran when she says it's not Charlene. Like Earl's like, oh, you're just losing it, honey. And she's like, Fran, Earl, you don't know our daughter. And then he goes and like gets a picture to hold it up to him.
Yeah.
And he's so mad that he tells him to go to his room for trying to deceive him.
Give me $1.
Money, please. So Fran rightfully mentions to Earl that he doesn't even know their daughter at all. And he's like, oh, well, ask me anything about Charlene right now.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, where is she?
All right, ask me what about Robbie.
Yeah. So he has no idea.
It's also a shitty question, though. Like, that's a trick question. That's the one thing. That's like, what's in my pocket? Like, he doesn't fucking know that.
It's this. I'm flicking you off.
That's what it should have been. My favorite joke. If that scene would, what's in my pocket, and then at the end of it, fucking, he pulls his middle finger out. God, that'd be so good.
So we cut to the scene with the Sinclairs and the Poupons in the kitchen with Baby, and Baby smacking his lips the whole time.
Yeah, because he's just looking at. He's like, he already had one. He knows how good they are. He's ready for some more Poupon.
Yeah, and Earl's just like, don't. You're spoiled dinner if you eat another one.
Baby's a really good bargaining chip in this situation because it's just like constantly a threat in the corner of the room. Like he's already had a taste for them. Like he will eat them if they don't give him Charlene back.
Yeah. And he's just like, oh, you know how kids are, a bumped head here, a scraped knee there. One kid swallows another.
This is my favorite part of this episode is to imagine this not being a dinosaur puppet sitcom, a regular sitcom where the kid eats a foreign exchange student. And that's the first time shit broke weird in the whole show. Like, it's just the normal people, and then this baby eats a baby.
Yeah, and then the Poupons they don't really care, I guess.
They don't. They don't. As long as they have Jerry Lewis, they don't need anything.
Yeah. Because even like Simone, not Simone, what's the
Pumbaa.
dad's? What was
it's
the...
Henry.
Henra. And Henri, that's what it is. Henri.
Oh, well, it's spelled Henry, so I don't fuck with them.
Yeah, the fucking foreigners. And so yeah, he's just like I'd like to say that I'm disappointed, but
Yeah. So he's just like, it's some bullshit he's spinning to Earl to convince him to give him the TV, which would be like a giant plasma screen for them.
Yeah,
like it's a fucking virtual TV because they're tiny.
They're like foreign, so like they probably don't even have the proper wall to like the
wall jack. They have to get the converter.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, so Fran's just like, yeah, obviously that's what we're gonna do. Like our baby ate their baby. Like we're just giving them it's not even their main TV. They're giving them like their kitchen tube.
Yeah, isn't it like the free one they got from the insurance company?
I don't know, because Earl says he just had it serviced. I'm like, a TV like that, just throw it out. Like it looks like shit.
Yeah, but then we get Charlene comes. She shows up. She's like her like sweater's all ragged and like
Which vomit on her sweater already. Mom's worm getty.
Yeah, worm getty. And
Wormageddon.
She gets home and Earl comes into the room. He's like, oh, let me hug you, my daughter Charlene, whom I recognized almost immediately.
And so she gives her a little speech about, like, it's so funny because the resolution is so weak in this one. And she's like, even if my family doesn't understand me, I guess it's better than laying on a bunch of sticks and eating worms.
Earl's
I miss you too.
Yeah.
That's right down his alley. That's the level of like what he can handle.
And then they get to the point, which is like every Charlene like centric episode where Earl has to actually talk to his daughter, he always tries to put it off on Fran. Like he's just like, all right, it's time for the emotional part.
But no, Fran's gonna go help the fucking dickbirds with their TV. So Earl actually has to talk to Charlene about like why he doesn't fucking know his daughter.
Yeah,
this conversation, like he at least apologizes for the birthday party, and kind of quickly includes every time Elsie's fucked up in her life.
14 years of misery.
Yeah. But he explains how scary it is that she's grown up because like they don't have like he doesn't know how to relate to her anymore because the things she cares about are like stuff that, you know, well, here it is. He could relate to her. He's just an asshole. Like he can make an effort. He doesn't have to also be at high school and like try to worry about her friends and boys and stuff. He could fucking understand what that might feel like. Like it's such a cop out.
But they do reminisce about, you know, her being a little girl and showing her shiny things. So
her being like, ooh. So he misses that. That's his level. Is shiny thing exchange.
Yeah.
Like if you just show up like a party for Earl is like all the guys get together and they bring their shiny stuff out and they just look at it.
Well, they got like the frankincense and myrrh and whatever that other guy brought.
He brought the Harold and Kumar Blu-ray box set Criterion collection.
That's right. Yeah.
I've read the Bible.
And some White Castle.
Some White Castle. Rest in peace to me because I don't get any because they don't have it down in New Orleans. And I don't even want to talk about the times I've tried to get White Castle as I've been in Ohio for the past week. It's not worked out. It has not crossed my lips yet.
I would say that's a bummer, but I don't care about White Castle. You know, not you eating it. I just don't care.
I was about to say I cried about you having to force that food down like a pill. I lost sleep over it.
It's just like a pill. It's gross ass food.
So what they end up landing on is Earl's like maybe they're not ready to have good conversations, but they could just like hang out with each other. You know?
Yeah, you know, let's hang out, watch Botchamania together.
Yeah, just watch that wrestling bloopers, get a stripper, play some poker, drinks. Oh wait, she hated that. So she's full of shit. She didn't want to hang out with him.
Yeah, like
she got the poker.
She doesn't actually want to hang out with him. Like
no, but she's just trying to meet him halfway because she doesn't want to get fucking sent to a foreign exchange home again. But yeah, he does tell her that he was planning maybe asking some of the guys at work and seeing things because there was this sweater at the teenage girl shopping section at the mall that he had his eye on. You want to go like maybe check it out a bit.
I'm sure Sexual Harris was there checking it out. Mm-hmm. Not weird at all.
Not weird at all that Earl wants this sweater. But I mean, what this says to me is Robbie probably had a talk with Earl during this episode about what Charlene actually wants. If Robbie was even paying attention during that scene where Charlene told him.
He was trying to read his comic. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. I mean, his comic was How to Listen to Your Sister While She Talks, which is a very informative comic.
From the authors of How to Pick Up Girls.
and influence people. But yeah, so she decides to go sweater shopping with him, and that's the end of the episode. And so like I don't know what really happened here. What was this episode about? Essentially, like the concept is her family doesn't know her, so she's gonna go live with another family because maybe they'll get to know her and they'll like her. But she finds out that that's impossible because all other families care about is Jerry Lewis.
Yeah. And they're French.
And French people apparently are very annoying and pretentious, and Baby eats them. I don't know what was supposed to happen in this episode. Like, none of it adds up, really. It's very funny, but none of it makes sense.
Yeah,
the resolution is so bizarre. I don't even think we mentioned that Charlene ran away from the foreign house. Like, they didn't bring her back.
Yeah, she somehow found her way back home, like from wherever she was. Because she had to take a bus to get there, first of all. So.
Yeah, I think something that's important to note is that earlier she mentions that she would run away if it wasn't so inconvenient. So I guess what we learn is she learns lessons so fast because she does not have the patience for it. Like it was 2 days and she was back. Like she ran away from the other family. She could have just lived on her own, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, she could have always moved into Roy's place.
Yeah.
You know,
I think an important thing to note is that for one, her life isn't that fucking bad. Like, yeah, her dad's an idiot, doesn't know how to plan a party. I don't think I had parties planned for me at her age. I don't know like what the norm is. I know I was upset about it sometimes though, so I guess I get that.
You didn't want poker night?
I would have loved that. I would have felt so adult.
At 14?
Yeah, 14. I played poker with my friends all the time, but we just used like pretzels or Oreos as like our
That's
chips.
I'm on Charlene's. I'm on Team Charlene. That's so
You don't like
boring.
poker?
It's so
I
boring.
I've played that. We do that because I hated Monopoly. That's one of the other games we played. I hated that. I like poker. I liked Crazy Eights, and like I like playing bullshit the most though. It's more fun. But you need at least 4 people to have that one. It might be fun.
Monopoly is fine when you're not playing with a total asshole who just like destroys you in like 30 minutes. Like,
well, no, I think Monopoly is fine if you can amend a rule that makes the game end a lot sooner than it does. Because I hate the drawn out like fucking exchanging hotels and trading your property with people because you owe them money, and it goes on and on. And it was always like me and my friend Scott and my friend Joey, and midway through the game, Joey would just give all of his stuff to Scott and quit. It was annoying.
that's how every game should end.
Every game he'd quit, give all stuff to Scott. Now Scott's beating me by way more than he needs to be, and Joey just goes and draws furry comics in the corner
of the Monopoly Man.
Probably of the Monopoly Man. What would his first son be? It'd probably be like a Curious George type monkey.
Lyle?
I was. Who is Lyle?
Oh my god.
I love that in the group chat earlier about Lyle the monkey.
Okay, you got to go back and listen to Keystone Copycats.
What'd I miss?
There's a whole episode where they have the guest. I don't even remember who the guest was, and they talk about Chris's pet monkey Lyle that's in the van. You don't remember this?
I must have not. If it was a guest and it wasn't Sarah Davis, I haven't listened to the episode yet.
It's like one of the funniest bits that they have.
I listened to the Armageddon one.
It wasn't the Armageddon one.
I didn't get to listen to the other one. Zach had to write the description because I was busy.
Oh, that must be why you don't remember it.
Guess the only thing I found earlier, I searched Lyle the monkey on Google because you mentioned Lyle the monkey and I didn't know what it was. And there's a coloring book called Lyle the Monkey Pirate. That's it. That's the only thing I found.
Is it the Illusionist episode or is it?
No, I listened to that one. They didn't have a guest.
No, the Illusionist episode there's no guest. So it must have been, it had to be Dread.
Oh, I didn't listen to that one. All right. Well, everybody check out Keystone Copycat so you can learn about Lyle the fucking monkey. I guess Chris had a pet monkey, which does not surprise me.
Sam Fisher was the guest, I believe.
Oh.
I don't know who
that is. I'm not gonna say I don't because I probably am supposed to and forget who they are. It's probably somebody around here. But yeah, speaking of Keystone Copycats, I was just over there recording a bonus episode with them about the movie Baby Driver, and
that's right.
We didn't have to talk about the movie because I haven't seen it. Yeah,
you're so close to those two beautiful men.
I know. I sat in that basement. I had a couch to myself while they were around the desk, and I had a mic in front of me, and they didn't let me do all my bits, but I had a lot of bits ready. got to do some of them. Got to make one at least quick under the radar Eminem reference that only Chris could laugh at quietly.
Quietly, he's not allowed to laugh any louder.
And then we also tried to, when Zach was out of the room, we tried to get Kristen to start a podcast with us about Frasier. Because first I asked her, "Do you want to do a podcast with us?" While Zach's out of the room, she's like, "Oh, I don't want to do a podcast." I'm like, "What if it's about Frasier?" And she's like, "Ooh," and she sat down and she started talking about Frasier for 30 minutes. And about how Niles is her favorite, but and Zach said she always reveals that as if she's not sure, and like she'll just you know what? I think Niles is better than Frasier.
He was great. He was great in Wet Hot American Summer. I love his 100%. Character. Yeah,
but he's not gonna be on the Frasier reboot because he's busy doing Broadway.
Disgusting.
Like he thinks which is the funniest thing is to imagine the character Frasier and Niles being too busy to do something because they're doing Broadway. It's very pretentious.
But I love that because what the fuck does the fucking Frasier? He does He did that terrible movie with Edge, the wrestler, the Money Plane.
Yeah, that's what we were discussing. Is he's not good in anything else but Frasier, whereas David Hyde Pierce is just an excellent actor.
Yeah, or as Sideshow Bob, because that's like his other greatest.
Oh yeah, well his voice can do wonders. He's great at falling down. Seen him do that before. He's not great in X-Men 3. He's a fucking beast. Hey, this has been Hand Up Me. I'm gonna do the outro bit solo real quick because we keep having technical difficulties and our call keeps dropping because my internet keeps dropping, and then we have to edit it back. And this last time that it happened was after we were done doing the whole episode and we were just talking bullshit about Frasier for some reason instead of just letting you people go on your merry way. So I'm gonna do the bit of housekeeping at the end of the episode real quick for y'all. Thank you to Jared from Scout 2 Network for doing our beautiful theme song. You can find their music all over Spotify. You can find Scout 2 Network on YouTube. Subscribe to their Patreon. You can listen to their band We Are the Union. They're great. Support all of their work. And check out Keystone Copycast with Chris and Zach. That's our friend Zach George's podcast, where they talk about like movies that have made an impact on the landscape of cinema and all the films that copy them. Like season 1, they did like Groundhog Day and then time loop movies. And season 2, they did Point Break and then like heist movies. And I don't know what season 3 is gonna bring yet, but it's coming soon, you know. But check them out, and you check out his band Waterson on like Bandcamp and Spotify and everything. And thanks to Amy Shenanigans for doing our logo. Doing the beautiful portraits of Tim and I. I did the weird shit for the logo, the little puppets, and it was a collaborative effort, and it worked out great. So check her out on Instagram at Amy Shenanigans. And thank you for joining us here at Sinclairity A Dinosaurs Tale. We appreciate getting to hang out with y'all every week. You know, kick back, shotgun a couple liquid deaths. I mean, it's a beautiful time for everyone, and we appreciate it, giving us this excuse to keep talking to. You know, I get to talk to my friends over Zoom for a couple hours every week, and it's hard to schedule that kind of shit. So thank you for doing that for us as well. And you can always find us at A Dinosaur's Tale on all forms of social media. And I know social media is evil, but I don't really know how else to get a hold of y'all. And you can always email us at sinclaritypodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, you know, whatever, you can tweet at us. You can let us know if we want to mention what you have to say in the episode. We'll do that. And just, you know, we'll just chat with you. We'll talk to you about Frasier, whatever you want to talk about, you know. And we'll catch you next week for another episode of Sinclairity A Dinosaurs Tale. So please enjoy Going Extinct. We ain't really got another option. Bye.